Welcome to the pilot episode of the so far unnamed show with Fiona and Jim. I'm Fiona.
I'm Jim.
Yes, and we are starting a YouTube channel. This is the intro to who we are and what we're doing this for. And obviously we don't have a name for it. That's why we've got the unnamed show with Fiona and Jim. And if you've got an idea for a name, leave it in the comments down below. But we are just going to use this time to introduce ourselves and what you can expect from this channel. So Jim, would you like to kick us off and tell us who you are and what you do?
Sure. So I don't know how to start, but I'll tell you at least that there's a lot going on in my life, and I've always been a bit of a jack of all trades. So at the moment I work for Positive Media, which is a radio station and media organisation, but I also work for the Anglican Church in Victoria. So I'm a priest, currently a curate, and that's where I spend my time, 50-50 on those times. I'm also a husband, a father, and a grandfather. And yeah, my background is quite varied. So I was a real estate agent for 13 years.
Yep.
I was also in the Australian Army. I was a Green Beret, and here to prove the fact is my Green Beret.
Wow. How long were you in the Army for?
I was in the Army for 3.5 years.
Yep.
So yeah, and I was a martial artist instructor for 30 years. So I have a bit of a varied background. So that's me.
What sort of martial arts was it?
Jiu-jitsu. So yeah, that's what I did.
Wow, that's
also got a degree in theology.
Yes.
And I'm studying for a master's at the moment, which is almost completed, which is also on theological studies.
And you're doing that in your spare time, Jim?
Yeah, in all my spare time. Yeah, all my lockdown time.
Crikey, that's unreal. Well, my gosh, I could sit here and just ask you questions about all that for ages. The martial arts. So you're a Anglican priest, is it called a priest? Or yes, yep. Anglican priest that used to be a Green Beret, that used to be a martial arts instructor. It's like the toughest priest you've ever met in your life, sitting right here running this show with me, which is really exciting.
Well, tell us a bit about you, Fiona.
All right, a little bit about me. Well, I am a corporate personal development trainer. I run training programs in businesses. It's called the Happy Work Academy. And I work with people just on self-awareness and self-regulation and all the emotional intelligence stuff to just help us be our best self. So then we can be our best in our teams and our best and with positive culture and stuff. And so speaking of being a jack of all trades, I'm also a leadership coach and trainer. I also do personal development coaching, and I run another YouTube channel called No Ordinary Woman with Fiona Briffa. So feel free to go check that out, where I share stories with of other women. So we recognize and celebrate women of all ages and all stages, just sharing the stories and the highlights just to inspire others and encourage others. So yeah, I guess at the core, my passion is helping other people succeed. That's like my philosophy. Also a mother, not yet a grandmother, got 2 amazing adult children, married, and have in the past owned promotional merchandise businesses. I've always owned businesses. I'm reluctant to use the word entrepreneur because it just doesn't sit with me. I start stuff and I do stuff, and new is always better. Like I love discovering new things or improving things, and I'm a very excitable person that wakes up with ideas first thing in the morning, which makes my husband go, oh, oh man, it's too early. Yeah. So, yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I've had lots of life experiences as well, but yeah.
So why do this show? I guess that's the thing that people would typically ask us. Why do a show together?
Yeah.
I guess I've got my reasons and you've got your reasons. For me, my reasons, yeah, sure. My reason is that I think that there's a lot of content out there. Some of it's helpful, some of it's less than helpful.
Yeah.
And I'd really like to be as helpful as possible. And mass media is the best way of doing that. Yeah. So YouTube channels, well worthwhile. Yeah. And YouTube is the second most used search engine next to Google.
Yeah.
So people typically want to know how to tie ties, which I don't have to worry about because I've got one of these ones. So you can watch a YouTube channel and learn how to do different necktie knots.
Yes.
So there's a variety of different things you can do there. And I thought if we did a video together, because we tend to talk about all sorts of
Life.
stuff. Yeah, and it's particularly interesting to us that
Yeah.
maybe other people might find it interesting too.
Yeah.
So why did you do this channel?
Well, much the same as you, is being able to, like, there's so much in my head, and I've had so many life experiences that I've been finding have been helpful for people that I coach and people that I speak to. And it's like, how do we reach more people with this information? Because it's stuff that, you know, when you talk to someone and they go, how come I've never learned that before? How come, you know, it's those things that that maybe other people think that they don't say, that can encourage or help someone else to feel more normal about themselves, or to feel encouraged about by our words. And the fact that combined, the two of us have experienced a lot of life, some helpful, some unhelpful, some, you know, downright not disturbing, that's a terrible word to use, but all the, you know, the stuff that everybody goes through in life. But I guess because the two of us with our different skills and our different backgrounds can just bring some light to it and just discuss what just the real life stuff and our takes on it, our experiences around it, and what could be probably helpful to other people. And it's like, it's what other people are thinking, but no one's saying. Maybe, I mean, maybe that's the name of the show. What no one else wants to talk about.
Sure, we can go with that as working title.
Yeah. So I guess that's us in a nutshell. And I mean, you being an Anglican priest and me being a Christian that doesn't go to church, and there's two sides to it. So it's about having those conversations about being okay in your own space with your own, however you want to live your life. And my passion being personal development, helping people be their best self, is some of the stuff that the questions that we have and we want to ask that not many people really talk about, and bringing that vulnerability, which I think is a new growing craze almost, that we're allowed to now be vulnerable and have these vulnerable conversations and all that sort of stuff. And particularly the reason why this works, because you've got the male perspective, I've got the female perspective, and then it's about bringing those two together to rise each other up, because one shouldn't be better or worse than the other. We're equals, and we need to be encouraging to each other and to everybody else as equals.
I think it's important to have discussions, especially at the moment, various different council things going on. I spoke recently at a Christian conference when they were discussing cancel culture, and I was saying, but Christians need to take some ownership in this space, particularly because statistically, back in the past, Christians were the ones who spoke about censorship, and censorship is cancelling. So Christian morality, Christian ethics has a lot to do with cancel culture. So what is appropriate to cancel and what isn't? It's really important, I think, in this particular climate to talk about. So and really stepping into that space and recognizing that censorship and shutting down conversations, having things like you can't talk about that, really doesn't help things, especially when there are things that really need to be talked about.
And there you go, there's the name of the show. You can't talk about that. Fiona and Jim.
We can't talk about that.
We will talk about that, and we will have conversations about that. And do you know what I think with this being our intro video, if you're watching, is if you've got an idea of stuff that you want to hear about, if you want us to talk about it, then by all means leave a comment below and say, yep, we'd love to have a conversation about this. Obviously, you know, appropriate R-rated, G-rated conversations, because kids could watch.
Well, R-rated for religious related, if you like. That's
religious,
We're looking at having nothing off topic, I think, is really, no topic off limits.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And that's why you can't talk about that, is we will talk about that, because, I really like that. And giving that open-minded perspective. And you know what I love about, like, I'm going like this because there's the two of us sitting here, is that there's unconditional love and acceptance in both of our value systems, is just taking people as they are, loving people as they are, and encouraging people where they are, which I think is probably the biggest thing a Christian should be doing, is accepting, which is what God does, isn't it?
Yes.
Is accepting people and meeting them where they are, and discussing what they need to discuss, and helping them build from where they are, instead of any sort of level of expectation, without expectations.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's a good intro.
Yeah, that's us in a nutshell. So we look forward to bringing you some interesting topics. Please, please, please let us know if there's anything that you would like to hear. And yeah, do you want to sign us off?
Bye.
Bye. See you soon.
Yeah.
Bye for now.